Hey book lovers, welcome to a new reading vlog. This is going to be a holiday book reading vlog, so I don't know yet how many books I want to read, but it's going to be just a focus of Christmas and holiday themed books. I'm in my car right now and probably looking a little rough because I had to wake up at 6:30 this morning, get on the road at 7:30 so I could drive down to Lansing for my company's Christmas lunch. I just got here. It starts in about 20 minutes, so I made good time, but I'm so tired. I don't even get up at 6:30 like on a normal day when I have to get my kids ready for school. It's okay. I would rather do this than work. On this drive, I started 2 books. The book that I started on my journey this morning was A Very Little Meet Cute, and so far I'm liking it. If you don't know, it is about this adult film star named B, who accidentally gets cast to play in essentially like a Hallmark Christmas movie. Her headshot for adult films accidentally got mixed in with headshots for regular actors, and something happened to the leading lady, like she got sick or something, and she last minute had to be recasted. The director saw B's headshot and she's like, she's perfect. She's exactly what I want for this role. B was contacted, and obviously this isn't her normal role, but after some him and hawing, she was like, you know what? Yes, I'll do it. So kind of like the first legit acting role that she's had since moving to LA. She had to fly from LA to Vermont, a little town called Christmas Notch. She gets there and she meets her co-star, who is actually like a former boy band member that she had a huge crush on. So she's super excited. And then on the other hand, the co-star recognizes B from her other work. And so he's super excited to be working with her. So that's kind of where I'm at. As of right now, neither one of them knows that the other person knows who they are. Yeah, that's kind of when I started to lose signal and I had to switch over to my other book in Hoopla, which is The Santa Suit. This one, it's pretty, pretty cliche. Like, you've got the small town vibes. This woman, Ivy, she's fairly recently divorced, and so with the settlement money she got from the divorce, she ends up moving to this small town, buys this old abandoned like farmhouse in this small town. So you've got the small town vibes, you've got the hunky neighbor that lives next door, super helpful, trying to help her get things up and running, get the house opened up. And back to being livable. And you've got the help save a small business trope in there. So it's sweet. It's very Christmassy. It's just very cliche. The whole thing with the Santa suit is Ivy discovers this box in the house that she bought, and there's a Santa suit in it. And I guess the previous owners of the house, they used to dress up as Santa Claus and Mrs. Claus, and they would, children would write them letters of what they want for Christmas. There's a lot of those letters saved in the box with the Santa suit that Ivy discovers. Like the letters of children that, it was very clear that they were in need or that they were going through something. Like this one little girl, she asked for Christmas that her daddy come back from the war, I think Vietnam War. Fun fact, my dad was in Vietnam War. Another one was, Santa, please get me an easy bake oven so I can help my mama cook because her oven doesn't work too well. Things like that. So not just, spoiled children that are like, I want a party for Christmas. I want a trampoline. Kids that really do need a little bit of magic for Christmas. I'm liking it fine. It's kind of middle of the road. I don't think it's going to blow me out of the water, but it might just be a nice little Christmas read. So yeah, I'm at the restaurant that I'm meeting my coworkers, and then I'll be hitting the road again later this afternoon to drive another 3.5 hours back home. That's kind of the nice thing about road trips. Yeah, I'm tired. Yeah, driving is kind of a pain, but that's a good 3 hours of uninterrupted audiobook listening time. So I'm not too mad about it. You guys, okay. So the Christmas party was so much fun. The company I work for is based in a city that's like a 2.5 hour drive from me, but we have offices all over the state. So I don't get to see these people very much. But anyway, so we had the Christmas party, we had cocktails and lunch, and we did Secret Santa, but then one of the higher revenue teams, I'm actually like a support person for them. I'm very much a behind the scenes person, so I don't want to be the person out there like making deals, bringing in money, but I'm happy to do like all the paperwork for it. Like that's my jam, because they are so appreciative of, you know, the work that I've been doing. They all pitched in and got me a separate gift aside from the Secret Santa gift. So that was like so sweet. But anyway, so my Secret Santa gift that I got, it's like a Starbucks gift set, and then Barnes & Noble and Starbucks gift cards. The sales team, they got me this cooler, first of all, but then they filled it with like a bunch of stuff. And the one guy, basically he had his gift card e-delivered to me. So that one, he said, is in my email. I can't remember where he said it. Oh, for a restaurant back home. It's like a local restaurant back home. More Barnes & Noble. So yeah, altogether I have $75 to spend at Barnes & Noble. And then more Starbucks, Bed Bath & Beyond, and Kohl's. I'm so excited. We don't have a Barnes & Noble where I live. We have Books A Million, but we don't have a Barnes & Noble. The closest Barnes & Noble is a 2.5 hour drive. But because I'm down in Lansing, there is literally a Barnes & Noble right down the road from where we were having lunch. So I'm going shopping. Okay, all done. That was a really nice Barnes & Noble. A lot better than the one that I went to in Arizona. So good selection there. I'll show you what I got, but I'm gonna drive home first. It kind of dawned on me, it's like almost 4 o'clock. So the sun, not that the sun is out right now, it's like super overcast. Probably hit the road before it gets like really dark. I will talk to you when I get home. Hello, finally back home. It is, I can't see the clock. It's like almost 7. It's been a long day. That was a lot of driving. So like about 6.5, 7 hours of driving. Okay, so what do you want first? You want reading update or shopping haul? Huh? What? Shopping haul? Well, too bad. Reading update first. I'm really tired. I get a little loopy when I'm tired. I finished the Santa suit. It was okay. I've not run it through Cawpile yet, but like I'm feeling 2.5. 2.5 feels right. It was a decent, cute little story, very Hallmarky, very like everyone is so nice. Not a single mean person in the entire town. And everyone is just so helpful and so welcoming. So that part was kind of boring. The most exciting part, this might be spoilery, so if you have not yet read this and you want to and you don't want anything spoiled, maybe skip ahead. The most exciting part of the book was there's like a catfish situation. There's like this girl that works at the diner and she's talking to the main character. They like become best friends. She met this guy online and she's never met him. They started talking like 8 months ago. She's never met him. He's away in the army and he's going to be coming home soon. And when he does, they're going to get married. They're going to like elope. And so when you first hear that, you're kind of thinking like, oh boy, okay, yeah. Like thinking, dude, this guy is catfishing you so hard. And then you find out that she's actually catfishing him. Not maliciously, but like they've talked on the phone and stuff, but they haven't done like FaceTime or Skype or anything like that. She, like, her dating profile picture or whatever is of some Swedish model. But then at the end of the book, we find out that he too is catfishing her. He himself is real, like him being away in the army, that's all true, but his appearance. He also posted a picture of some like catalog model. That was the most exciting part of the book, honestly. The romance was really weird. Really weird. And I went from like 0 to 60 very quickly. Like, okay. So Ivy and Ezra's the neighbor / real estate guy that sold her the house / plumber / handyman. And he brings her a Christmas tree because why wouldn't you? Small town hospitality. Everybody's nice and helping out. She doesn't have a Christmas tree because she just moved into this farmhouse. So he brings her a tree, and then she has him try on the Santa suit. He's going to be Santa that year, I think. That part wasn't super clear, or maybe I lost interest and wasn't fully listening. She's like helping him put the Santa suit on, and they're like, oh, it's really big. And she's like, oh, that's okay. That can easily be fixed. We could bring it in. And then all of a sudden wraps his arms around her waist and starts kissing her. And I'm like, whoa! Where did that come from? Like, she did not give any indication that is something that she wanted. Like, they weren't even really flirting. They were like, I don't know. If flirting happened, it was very subtle to where I was just like, why? I don't, like, if a guy just like swooped in and started kissing me like that I didn't give any indication that was something that I wanted. I don't know. That was cringy. And then at the end, when they do finally get together, because it's a romance, that's not a spoiler, the love interests get together at the end and they have a happy ever after. But that too was just like there was no build up. I didn't care for it. It was like a cute story, like the whole story about the Santa suit. And like I said, the whole catfish situation was pretty funny. Overall, not very memorable. And like I said, the romance situation was just no. Big no. That's the Santa suit. As soon as I finished that, I hopped back into A Merry Little Meet Cute. I didn't get to listen to a whole lot more. When I got home, I looked, and I'm only 22% into the book. But I think it's a pretty long book. Yeah, I mean, not a whole lot more has happened. Bea and Nolan, they started filming the movie, and the director wanted them to start with like the movie's final kiss scene. So like right off the bat, they have to kiss. And it's so funny because you're in the mind of Nolan while this is going on. And keep in mind, Nolan knows that she is an adult film star. He is a huge fan of hers. So he's like trying to contain himself. But I'm liking it. Holding my attention pretty well. Wanted to open up this Starbucks thing that I got from the work party and just see everything that I got. Oh gosh. Okay, we got it. It's taped in there. Atlanta stuck in my hair. Okay. We have no. Okay. Cocoa latte marshmallow topper. Ooh, a mug. I love me a mug. Oh my goodness. It's very sticky. I have one kind of similar to let me show you. I'm going to show you. Okay. I actually forgot I had that. A caramel stroop waffle. Warm it up on your cup. Those for coffee. I do have a Keurig, but I don't get the K-Pods? K-Pods? K-Cups. I don't get the K-Cups. I have like one of those little mesh ones, so I just put coffee grounds into it. Okay, so I went into Barnes & Noble with gift cards, and I was super excited to buy myself some books. Long story short, this year I've tried really, really hard not to buy books. Obviously, I have bought some, but compared to previous years, I haven't bought nearly as many. Book of the month doesn't count. I'm so conditioned now to stray away from trying to buy books that it was really hard for me to pick books to buy myself. There were a lot of books that I saw that I was like, I want to read that. But then I'm like, you know what? I know for a fact that I can get that on Scribd or grab it from my library. And so I talked myself out of like nearly every single book. I did end up buying this one, Just Like Magic by Sarah Hogel, because it sounds super interesting and I've seen multiple people on BookTube and Bookstagram talk about it. This is the one where a woman, she used to live a life of luxury. She lost all of her money and she's now like hiding out in Colorado, and she plays a record, the All I Want for Christmas Is You record. She plays it backwards and that summons a holiday spirit. It sounds like a good time, so I'm excited for it. And then the other one, I saw Keisha from A Book Like You rave about this book. I'd never heard of it before I saw it on her channel. So I was like, okay, I will have to give it a go. The Storied Life of A.J. Fikry by Gabrielle Zevin. This is about A.J. Fikry. His life is not at all what he expected it to be. He owns a bookstore and it's not doing well. And on top of all of that, he has a rare collection of poems that are stolen. So this prized possession of his is stolen. And then he gets a mysterious package delivered to him, and apparently it changes his life. Very intrigued because the synopsis is pretty vague, but like I said, Keisha raved about it, and she basically said, if you haven't read this yet, what are you doing with your life? So I want to read it. All right, so that is it that I bought for myself. The rest of the gift card I actually used to buy my kids some Christmas presents. The first one's not super exciting, but my youngest son, he is obsessed with the Titanic. He loves to watch videos on YouTube about it. He tells me all these different things. He's 7 years old, and he even knows about like the multiple conspiracy theories that surround the Titanic. Meanwhile, the only thing I know about it is from the movie. Oh, look, they even have a scene from the movie. Yeah, lots of information. And he draws it too. Like, he will bring home pictures from school that he drew of the Titanic while it's sinking and at different stages. So I think he'll really enjoy that. And the other thing, this one is where the bulk of the gift card went, but I'm really excited about it. My oldest, who is 8, he loves Legos, he loves cars, he loves building things. With the Legos that he has currently, he's constantly trying to like create different vehicles. And so this is basically like a race car kit. Like, there's lots of different ways to customize the vehicles. Knowing him, he's gonna come up with his own designs. Anyways, I am extremely tired. I don't know how late I'll be staying up tonight. I probably won't be reading anymore. Nick did just get home from working all day, so hopefully our plan is to go out and get some dinner, because neither one of us feel like cooking because it's been a long day, it's been a long week, and we are very ready for the weekend. Tomorrow, what am I doing tomorrow? First of all, I'm going to sleep in. I have a couple of videos that I do want to film. Once Nick is done working tomorrow, we're going to go see Violent Night. I'm super excited. Hi. I was just filming for about 15 minutes and realized my microphone wasn't set up, so. Also, I am doing some Christmas wrapping because I'm on my lunch break from work, and kids are still at school, so I thought I would try to get this done real quick. So it's been a few days since I last updated. I think the last time I talked to you was Friday when I got back from my trip downstate for my work Christmas party. We ended up going to Outback Steakhouse for steak and lobster. So that was nice. And then Saturday, I didn't do a whole lot of reading Saturday because I was editing a video so that I could get it posted Sunday morning, which I did. But I did finish reading A Merry Little Meet Cute. And then we did go see Violent Night, the new Christmas movie starring David Harbour as Santa Claus. It was really good. It was really good. In my favorite Christmas movies, Choose My TBR video, I had kind of said that I thought that it would be one of my favorite Christmas movies, and I think it probably will be part of that list. It's so unique compared to like other Christmas movies. For one thing, it's very violent, very graphic, very gory. I think it's by the same studio that did Bullet Train and Nobody, those are both like really graphic but also really funny movies, and this was the same kind of vibe. So lots of comical parts, but also very, very gory. And then the whole take on Santa Claus was really cool because normally Santa is like this holly jolly guy, loves Christmas. But in this movie, you know, he's actually kind of grumpy. He's pretty burnt out. He hates what Christmas has become over the years. But yeah, I really liked it. I enjoyed it. So if you've not seen it and you're okay with gore and violence, I highly recommend it. So yes, I finished Merry Little Meet Cute. I have some thoughts. So this book really made me realize that I'm definitely more of a slow burn romance kind of person. Because this one is not that at all. It's actually kind of the opposite. So a lot of the smut and the passion kind of happen towards the beginning of the book. And then as the book goes on and, you know, they grow feelings for each other, things kind of slow down, become a little bit more romantic. So that was interesting. I don't think I've ever read a book like that before. I didn't really like the smut in this because it was so just, I don't know. I think I like when characters like pine for each other a little bit before, because that didn't happen much in this one. They kind of just started going at it. So obviously Bea has to really keep under wraps. She doesn't want anyone finding out who she really is. So when they first start filming together, you know, they like instantly have chemistry because up until that point, each of them was kind of each other's fantasy. And now that their fantasy is real flesh and blood in front of them, they like can't keep their hands to themselves. Pretty hot and heavy right off the bat, which, you know, I didn't really care for that too much. There's lots of dirty talk, which I'm not a fan of at all. The writing was okay. I did really like the characters. There's quite a variety of characters. Bea's moms are pretty funny, like very sassy. And I really liked Bea's best friend. And the story itself, like, because there's kind of high stakes going on, like Bea not wanting anyone to find out what she really does for a living because it would completely tarnish her reputation and basically blacklist her from ever acting in a mainstream movie ever again. But yeah, overall it was cute if you don't mind a lot of smut and dirty talk. I did end up rating it 3 stars. And then Sunday I started reading Kiss Her Once for Me by Ashley Cochran. I think that's the author's name. So that one I'm really liking so far. I'm about not quite 50% of the way through that one now. It follows Ellie, and she lives in Portland, Oregon, and she's got some baggage. Her mom is kind of a POS, and I don't think her dad's in the picture, like, at all. But yeah, her mom calls her up. Like, basically she wasn't present for Ellie when she was a kid. She would like disappear, dated multiple men. She actually kind of reminded me of the mom from Firefly Lane, if you've read that or seen the show. And then she'll like call up Ellie and ask her for money. No, she doesn't ask her for money. She tells her like, I need X amount by this date, otherwise, you know, blah, blah, blah. And like poor Ellie, she's got student loan debt, and not just like went to school for a couple years student loan debt, but like she has a master's degree student loan debt. Like that is, I started grad school. Unfortunately, I've not yet been able to finish because I can't take on any more debt. So I feel her pain. It's not cheap in this country to get educated. She, you know, doesn't have like a super high paying job. So as we're like learning this about her, I'm like, girl, I feel you. I feel you. No, I didn't. How did I measure that wrong? Ugh. Last Christmas, Ellie met this girl, Jack, and they had like this amazing night together. You know, feelings are manifested. So the book kind of goes back and forth between present day and last Christmas, so that we're kind of slowly learning how this encounter with Jack occurred and how it ended, because Ellie kind of tells us that it didn't end well. But she fell hard for her, and she basically to this day hasn't really stopped thinking about her. She's a bit of an artist, so she draws like comics or graphic stories or something like that, and it talks about Jack. She changes the name, obviously. This Christmas, Ellie gets a call from her mom. She's hounding her for more money, and Ellie is like on the verge of a breakdown. She's just can't handle it. So she's at this cafe that she works at, and the owner, not like the owner, but like the landlord of, damn it. I'm not a huge fan of wrapping presents. I'm not a huge fan of doing anything domestic for that matter. Like, it's not in my DNA. I don't know. I'd like to be one of those kind of women, but just not in me. Okay, we're good. That looks fine. Anyways, basically the landlord for the building that this cafe is in comes into the cafe, kind of overhears Ellie talking to her coworker about her issues, frustrations, things like that. So basically, this guy, his name is Andrew, he comes from a very rich family, and his grandpa just died. But his will has a stipulation, a pretty recent stipulation, that Andrew cannot claim his inheritance until he is married. And Andrew has zero interest in getting married. He's not close enough with anybody to actually get married, and he offers a deal to Ellie that if she agrees to marry him so that he can get this inheritance, after a year they would file for a divorce, and he would give her 10% of the inheritance, which comes out to like $200,000. Almost, if not entirely, eliminate her debt altogether. She's very apprehensive about it at first, of course, but eventually she agrees. So she has to go home with him for the holidays to meet his family, be introduced as his fiance. She's introduced to his sister, who turns out to be Jack, the woman that she spent a beautiful night with last Christmas. I'm really liking it. Definitely potential for 4, maybe even 5 stars. I like the writing. I feel like I'm being shown, not told, what's happening. So it's very easy to kind of see this as a picture playing out in my head. It's very cozy and Christmassy. There's lots of talk of snow and baking and just the smells of Christmas, and like stockings hung on the fireplace. Lots of talk of like being cold. So far, so good. I'm enjoying it. Anyways, I'm gonna keep wrapping these presents. I'll update you again once I read more. Well, I'm getting sick again. I love the fall and winter because of, the vibes. I like the cooler weather just because I don't like to be too hot. But it's like I'm starting to dislike fall and winter more and more. We're inside all the time with the windows closed, so there's no fresh air. So I feel like between myself getting sick and the kids getting sick, it's just like winters are not good. It's not even officially winter yet, and I'm already ready for it to be over. That took a turn. I came on here to talk to you about Kiss Her Once for Me and wrap up this vlog. I really liked this book. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4.5 stars. I think the only reason that it wasn't a 5-star was mostly because it just didn't have that 5-star feel. I think my favorite thing about it was just how much I related to Ellie. I feel like I don't get to say that I relate to characters very much. Towards the end of the book, Ellie does even say that she's a Pisces. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, it makes so much sense. She's very like insecure, and she's afraid of failure. And I'm the exact same way. For instance, with BookTube, my channel is still so new. It has a lot of growing to do. Except for my parents and my boyfriend, I haven't shared my channel with anybody that I know in real life. I'm afraid of what they'll think of me if my channel doesn't grow. Like, I don't want the embarrassment of my friends and family seeing that. I was very apprehensive about starting this because I was afraid to fail. And Ellie's, she's the same way. There's a lot of things that she doesn't do or is hesitant about or doesn't want to do, or relationships that she doesn't want to enter into because she's afraid of them failing. She doesn't want the heartbreak. She doesn't want to have to go through that to have something, or to feel like you have something. and then to have to go through losing that. And she talks about self-sabotage. I definitely do that too. Like it's almost like a sense of like feeling when you do have something or you accomplish something, you feel like you don't deserve it. And so it's like you talk yourself down, or if you're on the precipice of achieving something, it's like you're afraid of actually getting there. One, because you're afraid to fail, and two, because you don't think you deserve it. And so it's like this vicious cycle of, you know, you've done all this hard work and now you're just like, no, I'm not good enough. This isn't going to work out. And so you're like self-sabotaging yourself, which is completely counterintuitive to what you should be doing to actually get to your goal. Definitely related to that as well. And then also her social anxiety. I have massive social anxiety. Big crowds, I can't do. The older I've gotten, I'm able to kind of come into myself a little bit, and I can completely block out people around me, which probably not the best thing to do when you're in public. Especially these days, best to be aware of your surroundings. But at the same time, for people who struggle with social anxiety, it's hard. It's like a sensory overload, like having all the people, and then it's just this like constant inner dialogue, like, oh my gosh, how do I look? Is this person looking at me? What if I trip and fall? Or somebody starts talking to me and I have to engage in small talk, and kind of being forced to interact. It's very daunting. Causes your body to have like this reaction. For example, I will just like close up. I will basically sit and observe, which isn't great because then you're kind of sitting there unintentionally having a resting bitch face, and then you look unapproachable and people think that you are a bitch, and it's a struggle. I loved Andrew's family, Andrew and Jack's family. They seem really fun, which is interesting because usually in books and movies, you know, there's a stereotype of really rich people being stuck up and materialistic, and this family is not that way at all. They're completely down to earth, and they're fun, and they're just really interesting people who, you know, really care about Ellie. I mean, Ellie's introduced as Andrew's fiance. They've never met her. They haven't really heard anything about her, and they welcome her with open arms. And really all the characters. I mean, I think every character in this book was really well done. Everyone was unique in their own way. They had their own personality. And there was so much queer rep, bisexual rep, pansexual rep, trans rep, non-binary rep. I mean, there was so much. I love to see that. It's a beautiful thing. And of course, the romance between Jack and Ellie was very well done. I love the flashbacks of last Christmas to this Christmas. It was a really cool way to have that done. So it's like we're slowly learning more and more about what happened between Jack and Ellie last Christmas. I love when I read a romance and it actually gives me butterflies. And this romance definitely did. So it was kind of not necessarily slow burn, but it wasn't like all in your face all at once, kind of like what was experienced in reading A Merry Little Meet Cute. This one was a little bit more subdued. And of course, in the beginning of the book, there's that element of forbidden love because Ellie is there with Andrew as Andrew's fiance. And so, you know, Jack and Ellie can't be together because of that. All in all, I really enjoyed it. Okay, so in this vlog, I read The Santa Suit by Mary Kate Andrews, which I rated 2.5 stars. A Merry Little Meet Cute by Julie Murphy and Sierra Simone. This one was 3 stars. And of course, Kiss Her Once for Me by Allison Cochran, which I did rate 4.5 stars. So definitely my favorite book of this reading vlog. Thank you so much for joining me in my holiday romance reading vlog. I'm gonna go make some tea and try not to get any sicker, and until next time, bye.